Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to part 4 of Let's Play Mystaria: Realms of Lore. And like I said, we're starting off in the jail cell, and it's locked, which kind of does nothing but pisses me off. Alright, so Katz and Aletha, we need to make sure their team menu is filled. I like to try to organize things so you make sure you've got, he only really gets ninja techs, but he also flies, which means he has a ridiculous range and height resistance. So that's fun. Aletha has arrow techniques, and she has kind of status effect magic. The two that she has starting off is Protect Shield and Raised Ground, which Raised Ground raises a section of ground so you can walk up it, making a hill. So if you've making her range attacks more effective, and kind of screwing over bad guys if used strategically, if they can't move up a height difference because of already a larger height difference. So it does kind of make things interesting if they're trying to cross a ravine that they wouldn't normally be able to cross. So it does help out a little bit for allied movement, and you can use it to kind of make forced choke points if necessary. And as you saw, Sora just learned cover, so she is the first one to use it, and obviously she's not going to be using cover on anyone, ever. And this fight's actually really easy because it provides you with a lot of natural choke points, which is something that you really want in a tactics RPG like this. Having open battlefields means easy flanking and multiple attacks on multiple characters. So choke points like this are a godsend. So the door acts as a choke point, and to reinforce that, I'm going to cast Protect Shield here, which increases your defense in the shield. So we take less damage in the shield as long as they're out of the shield, and you can fit, I believe, as long as you are in the shield, so any of the 9 spaces that the shield occupies, it affects. It gets a little dodgy if a bad guy attacks you from inside the shield, so I'm not sure how that works out. No one's really sat and done a lot of the numerical number crunching for this game as they have for games like Shining Force or Fire Emblem. So a lot of the defense statistics to me are largely unknown, rather than just something that can't be figured out with just the naked eye. And we acquired the S key, which allows us access to a set door. One thing is, there's a ton of treasure chests in here. We only have access to 2 of them. The rest of them we can't get to. It's just not possible. At least for the time being. So, the 2 that we get are quite helpful, but I would so much rather have the other, like, 10 that are available at the moment. And one very useful ability, Ground Lock. This makes enemies unable to move. I think they still have the ability to attack, but if Ground Lock successfully hits them, they can't move, which also helps with the forced choke points. And that's an ability that I'm going to be abusing the hell out of for at least the next couple of fights, because like I said, this game is merciless. It takes really 2 to 3 hits to kill most bad guys, depending on if they're defending or not. It takes the same number of hits to kill any of us. I just did 50 points of damage to Billy with a fireball there. 51 points of damage. They do a fair bit of damage. Like, if Katz gets hit, it'll take him down to probably about 10 to 15 hit points by any of these chargers. They hit him, he's pretty much going to go down in close to 1 hit, and pray they don't get a critical. If they get a critical, Katz is gone. Sora's gone. Hector's probably gone. Aragon, Reiko, Feral, they'd probably be able to withstand 2 hits even with a critical hit. So you do have to kind of be careful about it, because everyone else's defense is kind of lax. And one thing I'm going to go ahead and just throw out there that I'm going to do, I am going to be power leveling at certain intervals. The first fight that we have the ability to retreat from, which is coming up soon, I'm going to use the Shining Force Egress trick. Again, because this game is merciless. The number of bad guys they throw at you, the number of bad guys that will swarm on you at once because of the AI, and the defense and attack and health ratings are all really kind of skewed. So I'm not going to take any chances. Which that also means that I'm going to be learning abilities off screen. I will take the time to talk about those as they progress. And I'm not going to over level to where I can one-shot people, but a certain amount of power leveling is required just to stay on par with bad guys. Honestly, if I could have power leveled through this fight, I probably would have wanted at least an extra level. The only reason why I'm doing so well in this fight is because I make use of ground lock and choke points. And I make sure to kill each set of bad guys long before they become a problem. So, but in later battles, you don't have any choke points whatsoever. The field is basically one large field that the only hindrance is terrain. So flying enemies are going to have no problem getting to you, or flying allies are going to have no problem getting to your characters, or other characters that just have an immense level of mobility. So there are a lot of skewed things to this, which is my whole thing on, yes, I'm going to be power leveling, I'm sorry, deal with it, but oh well. But like I said, I'm not going to over level to where one-shotting is going to be an issue. I'm just going to make it stay on par. Because there's one fight coming up where you're going to be going against probably 30 to 40 bad guys. Like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 sets of 5, maybe. I know there's 3 definite sets of 5, and then 2 to 3 sets of 2 that I can think of offhand. And I still think there's maybe 1 or 2 more bad guys before you get to the very end of that fight. So, yeah, that's kind of dick compared to what you're going to be going against. And I know in this fight a lot of people are going to be learning abilities, so I'm trying to get through that. Reiko can learn ground lock. It's a ninja tech, so I wish I could get Reiko into the fray a little bit, but I used him to go show that you couldn't open that door, which I'm kind of regretting at this point, because I want to get him into the fray so that he can learn the next level ninja attack. And Feral, I believe, is going to be learning his next hand-to-hand skill here in a little bit. I believe he learns that in this fight, which puts Reiko kind of behind in a lot of things. Yeah, to show 34 points of damage. Katz is close to dead. If any of these other guys get any close to him, he's dead. But I don't know who's going to target who, or what the deal is with that. So, thankfully one of them is ground locked, and this gives me the perfect opportunity to Mystic Strike, which, sadly, the one who is ground locked defended, so that's kind of useless to me. Trying to figure out how I can do the most amount of damage. But first we want to make sure Katz stays alive. We want to make sure everyone levels up through these little parts here. That is our really biggest concern. And I really wish I already know the next attack that these guys learn, and I wish I had it. It's useful. But following with any sort of tactics tradition, the one who's ground locked is not as much of a threat, so take out the ones that are threats first. So anyone who can move is a threat. And you can't range strike around a corner, which, again, movement is kind of a pain in the ass. And he defended, so he only took 9 points of damage, which pisses me off. And again, the ground lock guy is not that much of a threat, so we're going to skip him. But the other guy defended as well, so he took next to no damage. And the only reason why I'm even bothering attacking with... Oh yeah, we've already learned kick. Okay, so yeah, we've got kick. And add cover. Kick! And now Aragon is a target. And see, he's had a higher defense, didn't quite take as much damage, but still, a lot of these guys can... They critical at ridiculously inopportune times. That's going to be true for any role-playing game, honestly. There's always going to be a moment where you're going to get shafted. Alright, so we've just learned the next attack, and the one I was talking about, straight shot. This one goes through people. So if you've got anywhere between 1 and 5 enemies in a row, you can hit all of them as long as you are within range of the farthest one. So that's actually very useful. So useful, in fact, that we are going to move Reiko out of the way. And we're going to have him Mystic Strike these two guys. And then we're going to move one of our archers up to straight shot. No, I don't want to move him there. I really don't, but I'm going to because I'm an idiot. And Spinning Strike to kill the one who's ground locked. But if I had moved Letha there, I would have should have been able to hit all of them. So equip straight shot onto her, and then shoot forward. Oh, and I can still hit all of them. I didn't think I hit all of them. And one of them goes down, which is quite awesome. It makes things so useful. And then Mystic Strike to hit one, because I don't want to throw cats out, you know, in the line of fire like that. And bad guy's turn. They're going to come up and attack Aragon again. So yeah, pretty much 3 attacks to Aragon. Reiko's got a pretty good evade, so... But one thing that I haven't shown off is everyone has a weakness that they say in their character profiles. That if they get attacked with that, it's so much more damaging to them. Aragon's weakness is mind magic, so things like sleep, confuse, he is a lot weaker to than everyone else. Sora is weak to things like dark magic, so certain types of magic attacks do more damage to her than anyone else. So those are also things that you do have to pay attention to. There's so many tiny little stat variables that you have to focus on that it's kind of a bitch. So pay attention. And really, this is one game that you just have to be very cautious with. So that's another thing on it. Alright, so I'm going to use a straight shot onto this guy, and then I'm going to go ahead and call this episode, and I will see you all in our next installment. Till then, later everyone.